Hello and welcome back to Wallbrand here in Manor Lords. In the previous video, we spent time building out our supply chains and becoming a trading juggernaut. We also started trading livestock and replaced our wheat fields with sheep farms since our fertility isn't great here in Wallbrand. And along the way, we leveled up many of our buildings to level 3 and grew our population past 250 residents. Our city is now very prosperous and dense. And we got those residents building weapons so that we could recruit them into our militia, which grew to be a considerable size. And with this newly expanded militia, we explored battle mechanics and formations and came away victorious in a number of battles with only a few casualties. And with all that we learned and earned in our previous videos, the time to prepare for battle is now. I have this plan to raise enough influence that we can claim all of Hildebolt's land at once. All we need is 8,000 influence, and we're nearly halfway there. The thing is, because all the lands have been claimed, bandit camps don't appear to spawn anymore. And that means that there really aren't many opportunities to gain influence via battle outside of the occasional raid. It is, however, possible to tithe food for influence, but to do that you have to have extra food, something that we've struggled with. So to solve that, we're going to build a small farming community in a new region. This will also give us more time to stockpile money and weapons, two things that we're going to need for this massive battle. So in this episode, we're going to found a new village in a new region that will eventually become an absolute farming juggernaut. But today, our goal will be to lay its foundations and ensure that it's sustainable. And in the next one, we'll add a ton of farms so that we can farm for influence. And if you're ready to settle new lands, hit the like button. And if you'd like to fast forward to the multi-front war with Hildebolt, hit the like button for that too, and let me know how you feel down in the comments. Or leave an emoji letting me know how you feel for the sake of engagement. And without any further ado, let's jump right in. The first thing that we're going to do is figure out exactly which region we are going to be building in. Just as a quick refresher, we currently have these 4 regions. Wallbrand is right in the center. We also have this region right here, which is in between 2 of Hildenbolt's lands and these other 2 off to the side. Now, one of the things that's going to be the most important to figure out is which region has the specific fertilities that we're interested in. So to figure that out, if we go under construction, we can turn on our Emmer overlay, which shows us our wheat fertility. And you can see why we're leaving this region. It is not so good. But over here, this region is incredibly fertile. You can see it's green, dark green, basically everywhere, but a couple of small locations right here. This region to the south is not so good. This looks a lot like Wallbrand, so probably not the location that we'll be picking. And then this other region over here, I want to say that this is River's Edge. There's a stream or something like that right here. So it makes sense that this is very fertile. Now, the other fertility that I'm interested in, flax is obviously important for linens, but I'm okay importing that. But barley is something that we've been running out of. So we've been really suffering when making ale, and this is a good location for that. And over here, much the same story. It looks like we could get either one of these regions and be just fine. Now, I want to think a little bit about strategy and the war. And when I think about this, it seems like this area right here along the stream probably isn't the right location for us. Thing is, I could see Hildebolt coming from the north and the south to try to trap us. And if we have this region as well, we need to spread out our army so that our army is both here, and that's not going to be so great. If we have this region and we farm this little corner right here, then potentially, we don't have to worry about that quite as much because it would be very difficult for Hildebolt to get over here. So I think we're going to settle this little area right here. So I think the first thing that I want to do is build out a couple of roads. So right here we have our sheep's farm, and we have this road that I've teed into this area. And what I'm thinking is we'll just connect this road up to the King's Highway. And after that, we have to build a settlement camp. So the settlement camp is found underneath administration, and then here it is, the settlers camp. So I believe we just place this in a non-settled region, anywhere that we want. And you know what? I kind of like this high ground right here. Let's build another road. And we'll build our camp right up here. Now, interestingly, we don't have any money because we're showing all the stats of this new region. So I'll place this right here. And very interesting. So we have these different settlement options. Only town is available. But it looks like in the future, you're going to be able to actually say what kind of village you want to form. Farming, forest, or mining. We also have the ability to set our starting supplies. Now, this is curious to me. It looks like we can either start with a modest amount of stuff, so 20 of everything, 40 of everything, except for tools, only 20 of that, and then plentiful, we get a little bit of everything. I don't know why we wouldn't go for plentiful. Seems like the easy start, so if we can afford it, we're going to go for it. The one thing that's interesting is I don't actually have the ability to see how much money we have on the screen, so we're just going to go for it, and it let me do it. So I assume we're good. Now with this, that gives us some tents 1 ox, some basic food, and some supplies. We are going to need to basically pretend that this is a brand new community. And the very first thing I want to build because of that is going to be a logging camp. So for our logging camp, I know that we've got plentiful wood over here, and we're going to farm as close to the community as we can. So I'm actually inclined to place that right over here. We're kind of at the top of a hill, and we've got this road. I think I might link these up, and then we'll link our logging camp to that road. And then we'll need the other things that are associated with the logging camp, such as the woodcutter's lodge if we want to have our own fuel. And then we'll need to build some logistics buildings as well. So if this is kind of the heart of our little farming community, I'm going to build our storehouse down here, and I'll also build a granary over here as well. And look at us disrespecting the topography, going straight downhill. Perfect. And then from here, I think I'm going to send one more road down, and look at that. We've got a mine deposit. I'm going to go around that, and we'll try to meet up with this road that we already have over here. And there we go. We have our basic buildings in our community. So now I want to make sure that we have some folks assigned to our logging camp over here. So I'll assign one family for now. And then I want to start working on a special trading project. So I want to be able to send things from this region over to Waldbrand. So underneath logistics, we have our pack stations. And I want to build a pack station both here and in Waldbrand. So we're going to place this right near our little facilities right here. And the reason why this is probably a good location for this is we're going to be taking our supplies and putting them right into our storage facilities. And then we're going to place another one of these over in Waldbrand. And for Waldbrand, I think we're going to keep this, we'll keep this right about here. It seems like a logical location, mostly because we have a bunch of animals over here. Maybe that's not the greatest rationale, but we're going to do it anyway. And then knowing that we have this facility here, I'm going to cut a road like that, so we cut a little bit of time off that trip. Now, the pack station requires mules, and I haven't used these before, so this is going to be kind of a learning experience, but from my understanding, the mules will transport up to 20 goods per trip. So we want to have enough mules to populate this stand. Now, I believe that these each can hold 2 mules. So we're going to get 2 here, and then eventually we'll need to get 2 more in our other region. So let's go over to our livestock trading post, and I'm going to say we want to import 2 mules. And as soon as we have them, we will assign them over to this facility. And just like that, it is complete. So let's see. We need to assign someone to work the stable, so we'll do that. And here's the way that this works. We need to select our barter partner, and Imanruth is the other region that we have, so we will say that that is our barter partner. And then I want to send something over there, and I can only pick one thing at a time. So we are likely going to need multiple of these. But starting out, I think we just need to figure out the things that are going to be the most important to get over there. And honestly, I'm inclined to say that we need to get some planks over there. So I'm going to take planks over there, and we have to receive something. So we'll receive firewood. And interestingly, it balances this out. So even though it's staying in the region, it's balancing it out because it has to be fair. So that's going to be something that we have to keep in mind as we are doing all this farming. I don't know what we're going to send over there. Most likely roof tiles, and then we will build a trading post over there and sell the roof tiles as we're trading the food into this region. Now, over in this region, we've also built our pack station. Now, we could buy a mule, but the mules are actually pretty expensive. It's 25 gold. I think we're going to do it because I think it's important that we have this operational. Now, there's nothing else that we can send over here. We're going to have to work on that. So let's work on growing our population and giving homes and fuel to our citizenry. So what we're going to do is build just a couple of homes over here. Now, I don't want to go overboard with this because I'm really interested in building a community around a church. But for now, we'll do what we can. And there we go. We have 5 homes for our 5 families. And I'm now realizing the error of my ways. I never assigned anyone to work over at this woodcutter's lodge. So that's why everyone is cold and why everyone is unhappy over here. And as a result, they're not building a thing. So we've assigned 2 families to split wood. That should really help us out a lot. In fact, we'll probably end up going through most of our timber as a result. Okay, and all of our homes are now done and we've reached the next settlement level. The problem is we have no food. So this is a problem for us. What I'm thinking is let's slow things down. We're going to calm down for a second. And we do have a little bit of money. We are going to have a couple of chicken coops. So this will get us growing, or not growing, but producing some food here. And that's all that we can have. We didn't build a big enough lot for this one, apparently. Right here, though, it's wider, so this one's okay. We are going to have a vegetable garden here, and hopefully at this one, nothing here as well. Now, what I think we're going to do, I wanted 20 planks so that we could build a church. That's just not in the cards just yet. So what we're going to do instead is switch our trade from receiving planks to receiving some sort of food that we have over here. We got a ton of bread, so we'll send bread back that way. And then I want to make sure that we have permanent livestock here. I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know where this is coming from, if we've actually got any. Let's take a look at our livestock trading post to see if we have any mules. And interestingly, it looks like we have 4 right now, and I tried to bring in 2. So I'm going to set this to 4 so that we don't inadvertently get rid of those mules. We shouldn't, because we're just importing, but weird because we already have them. I'm not sure why they're not being assigned directly to this. So just to satiate my own curiousness, sometimes one of the bugs I've found is if you pause this and then re-enable it, it'll work. And that didn't seem to do the trick, so I'm just going to order a mule. We'll see if that does the trick for us. And immediately we got a mule assigned here, so I guess that must have done the trick. Now I just really hope that we actually get some food over here soon. We have 2 eggs, that's it. We're not in a good place over here. So hunger's a significant concern. All that said, we are going to plan as though we aren't dealing with a major hunger problem, and we'll build a few more homes. So I placed 2 more lots right next to our existing lots, and I made sure that these were large enough to have an accessory use. So hopefully we'll be able to fill these up and add an accessory use really, really soon. And that was fairly quick getting those 2 built. Now I am curious. Obviously, no one is going to live here right now. But if I were to build a chicken coop, the construction will get started there. I'm going to do the exact same thing right here. And I'm wondering, I know that this house doesn't have a chicken coop. There's no way for me to turn it off. So I can't pause this. So unfortunately, that means that these folks are just going to be there and we're just going to have to wait. But I'm hoping that we can still have a chicken coop here and someone will work it. We'll have to see. Now, the next thing I'm going to build over here is one of the last few things that we can actually build to make our folks happy, and that is a well. So let's figure out a good spot for that. Not all that many, truthfully, near our settlement. So I'm going to place that right about here, right in the corner. And easy enough, we now have water here, which is good because people are very unhappy. We do have a bit of food, though, now, so that puts us in a better place. The big concern now is going to be our planks. So for the church, we have to have 20 planks. We currently have 8. So I'm going to try to play a game a little bit and switch this back and forth and try to go back and forth between basically not having food over there and getting planks. So we'll switch this from bread back over to planks. And now I'm going to head over here and just keep an eye on our plank, the numbers. And as soon as we have it, I'll switch it back over to food. And I believe there is our mule, hopefully bringing over all of our planks. Indeed it did. So I'm going to slow this down because the last thing we want is to continue that. And once again, switch this back over to some sort of food that we have. We're actually getting a decent amount of food over here. And I'm going to switch this over to bread. It seems like we have quite the surplus. So now with that, we have the opportunity to start building our church, and we're going to take that right away. And that's because the wooden church is going to bring our citizens lots of happiness. So I'm thinking that we will plan this little community right about here, and I'll put this right in the middle of this field. And then I've gone ahead with a real basic layout here, trying to make sure that the church is very clearly the center of the community. And there we are with our church. Now this should start boosting up the happiness of all the citizens here, which is really going to be helpful because we're in a pretty bad spot still. So I am thinking that we are going to start moving our homes over here. Now, we'll keep these ones because we paid a lot for them. They have chicken coops and whatnot, but I don't want to build any more over there. So I'm going to build a couple more, and I'm going to front these towards the church. And we're going to make all these large enough that they can have an accessory use. The other thing, I think I've added this couplet right here. We're going to put the market in between the couplet, but I think I want to have another road going off from the side here to divide this up and give additional paths for walking. Now, we've gone pretty hard on the home building right here, so I'm going to take a step back from that and build our marketplace, which is something that we've actually seen a couple of complaints about. And I'm going to place that, like I mentioned, right in front of the church. I think it would make a really interesting marketplace. The one thing I'm a little disappointed in is it looks like we're only going to get 13 stalls. Now, I didn't check into this before I built the couplet, so I turned off road snapping, and it seems like it's giving me more, which seems bizarre, but we're going to go with it. Now, interestingly, we got some really unique layouts here. So we've got diagonal stalls right here, and right here we were able to get them side by side. So I don't really know why that's the case. The one thing I can tell is as straight as I wanted to make this, it didn't quite work. And truthfully, it kind of fits the whole medieval aesthetic, so we're just going to roll with it. And just like that, we have built the coolest looking ghost town in all of Manor Lords. I don't think that we have a soul living over here right now, but things should start improving because we are above 50% happiness. So that is the church, that is the market. We have good food variety because we're importing all of the bread from the other region, and we have eggs, and I believe, yeah, we have vegetables here as well. So this should make people very, very happy, and hopefully soon enough, we'll start to see our population over here growing. Now, the primary reason why I wanted to build all of this is we are going to need a significant population to work our farm. So we are going to build this entire area out eventually. But for now, I'm going to try to take some of these resources that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do much with. So let's go ahead and build a temporary stonecutter camp, for instance. And let's collect all this stone, get it out of our way. And thankfully, we do have one more family now. So we can assign them right here. And let's see, how much stone is even here? 140. Shouldn't take them long at all. You can see they just started and are just depleting it quickly. So that's the nice thing about these stonecutter camps is you can set them up, get your resource, and then demolish them right away. And just like that, we've got another family moving in, and we've also got a bunch of outlaws coming in. So we are going to take care of that in just a moment. But I want to build something quickly. We are going to build another pack station. And I'm going to build another one over here as well. And the main reason I want to do this is I want to have some clothing heading over to this camp because that'll help us level up all these buildings to level 2. Now, yeah, we've got some things happening over here, so we're definitely going to have to engage our militia. And thankfully, it's pretty large at this point in time. Now, I think that we have the ability to kind of form whatever we like. I'm going to get rid of this pole arm militia. Whoops, got rid of 2. And I want to have another archer. I think we have the supplies. So let's go with, I wonder if we can do 2 archers. We have tons and tons of warbows. So we clearly, oh, we don't have the people for it. That's going to be our limitation. We'll roll with it though. And then we'll take all of these folks and rally them right on our border. And here is our gigantic army. So let's go ahead and get them in a formation. So I'm going to start out by taking our melee units and we'll put them into position first. And I'm going to face them in the right direction. So right mouse clicking and holding them so we can spread them out. Now, interestingly, we've got 2 or 3 different types of melee units. So I think we will have our retinue in the front. And then behind them, I'll put the footmen. And then I think I'm going to put the spearmen on the side. And then we'll have our archers behind them. So now hopefully they'll walk right towards us. And it almost looks as if they're staying pat. So I'm going to grab the retinue and I'm going to bait them into coming over here. So I'm sending them up into the woods over here. And now they're coming this way. I'm going to pause it for a moment. We're going to have them run straight back here. And I will have them run. Just come straight back and send them right into our trap. Now, interestingly, we've got these brigades going off to the side. I'm going to send this spear militia right after them. And then we'll have our archers go behind them. And now it seems as though they are afraid of us. Now I'm going to slow it down and grab these footmen and send them off to the side. They're chasing after our archers. And then we've got some spearmen right here. We're going to have them stand their ground. And we've got our archers shooting, so that should be very good for us. Let's have these troops run. And I'm having all of these archer militia members run away. And oh no, they are now engaged in melee combat. That is not what we wanted. Get them out of there. And they're still in the thick of it. Oh my goodness. They need to come back. We got to get them out of there again. And get these militia footmen going over there instead. And I was able to distract them. Looking good. And now we've got our archers over here. These ones, they're a little bit too far away. Okay, they're defeated. And then over here, we'll send them in to shoot as well. We'll send our spear militia in to get them from behind. Oh, this is not good for them. They're running right into us. Oh, look at that. Just a couple got away. They're trying to escape. We're not letting it happen. Maybe we are. Go back into the hinterlands. It's okay. It's okay. You're good. Wow, they're still getting them from way over here. That is impressive. Okay, so we've defeated them. We don't have to worry about that anymore. We'll come back over here. That did give us a bit of influence, which is good. And then we'll come back into our lands and disband all those troops. And we thank them for their service and let them get back to their normal lives. Now, back to this area. Let's see how things are looking. We've got a few extra families. We are very happy. Our stone, let's see how this is doing. 45 remaining. What I want to do is now get a forester over here. Now, I know this is not where we're gearing at in the long term, but I think that what we've got to do is really set up a strong woodcutting industry, because that's what we're using for all of our trade now. And then in the future, we can begin to tone this down as we focus 100% of our resources on all of our farms. So I am going to add an additional family to our logging camp, and then we'll construct our forester's hut. We'll put that right next to this, and I'm going to speed up construction on this, even though it's the only thing that we're building. So it shouldn't really matter if we're being honest with ourselves. And I'm going to assign one family here for now. And then let's set the range that we are working in, because I want to make sure that we're replanting only in this small area, because I don't want, if they get outside of here and start clearing the trees near our fields, I guess I'm okay with that. I want to come back to our pack station for just a minute, because I think I've been thinking about these all wrong. So I've been thinking about these like I would in Timberborn. So in Timberborn, when you have multiple districts or regions, what you end up doing is having the equivalent of a pack station and then a place to receive the goods on the other end. Now, I don't think that's how it works in this game. In fact, I think that if I turn these off, the other end will still work just fine. So I think we actually have twice as many of these as we actually need. So what I'm going to do is turn these off. And then on the other end, we're going to set up all of our trades to occur over there. And then we're going to see what happens over here to see if we still get goods. So for our first pack station, we are trying to send over bread and in exchange for firewood. And for our second pack station, I want to send over some sort of clothing iron so we can level up some of the buildings over there. So I'm thinking that we are going to send over some yarn. Now, the reason I want to send over yarn is we should be able to produce yarn with our sheep here and send that over easily, and yarn counts as clothing. So in return, we'll send firewood again, but we're probably going to change this. We also need to order another mule and hire someone for this station. Now, I want to check this whole supply chain because I don't think it's right. In fact, I know it's not right. Beginning right here, we have no one working our sheep farm, which means that we're not picking up wool. I'm going to assign one worker here. And then the other end of this is our weaver. And I believe that we've already got someone working at our weaver. Yeah, so we should be fine. As soon as they have some wool, they'll produce some yarn. I'm a little bit curious though. Does it make a lot of sense to send over some of our food to this other area when we really don't have any over here ourselves? It says that we've got 7 months, but there's 260 people here, 261. That'll go fast. What I think we're going to do is turn this to something else that we're going to need over there. That's going to be planks. We don't have a sawmill, and you need planks to level up basically every building. Now, I really want to watch and figure out if a mule does leave here. We're going to pop in and take a look at this a couple of times, but there's a few other things I want to take care of. It was mentioned in the comments of the previous video that I never actually did the thing that was necessary to take advantage of the foreign suppliers policy that we enabled in the last video. So you actually have to build a firewood cart or a food cart for this to work, and I never did that. Now, these are interesting in that you have to place these in a market, and you can only place one. So I'm going to place one of them over here. So I'll place one right there, and then we've got our firewood cart as well, and we'll place that right there as well. And ultimately, this is what gets built. You get these two trailer-looking things, and they just kind of spawn stuff. But if we click on it, you can see that it's actually importing things from the outside world. In fact, if we speed it up, I assume that we're going to see these numbers go up. Indeed, they are, for the cost of a little bit of money. Now, one thing I keep noticing over here is I keep seeing that the generic storage is full. And I think that we've got to take care of this. I'm concerned that if we don't take care of this, our trade's going to stop. So let's take care of this, and I think I have the perfect spot. We never got rid of our stone cutter over here, so why don't we eliminate this? And that'll give us an extra worker, and that's going to be great because I want to place them at the new storage that we're going to build over here. And there we go. We now have our second storehouse. So I want to completely fill this up with employees. We've got enough for 3, but I think we can do one better. We have a lot of fuel. I'm going to take a bit of this away. So we have a woodcutter's lodge. Got 3 people here. Let's take one away from there and then assign that person right here to our large storehouse. So I know that this doesn't seem like it matters, but I think that by doing this, some of the bottlenecks that we're seeing at places like our trading post and in our market and different buildings will clear up, and hopefully it just means that we'll still be able to import food. I feel like at this point, we should have more food, and we don't. And it's not because we don't have we don't have employees here. And that makes me wonder if that's part of our problem too. So maybe we'll focus on that for a moment as well. And bluntly looking at this, there aren't really places that we can pull employees from. So I'm inclined to do something I'm not super excited about, and that is build a few new homes. Now, the thing about that is our happiness is not very high. So I'm going to lower our taxation here. And then I'm going to add just a couple of homes on the edge here. Honestly, this does feel really good to me. It feels like a nice conclusion to this community. Now, interestingly, we've seen our approval just jump up recently, as have we seen our number of food items jump up. So I assume this is because of our storage. It might not make any sense, but I think that if you have storage that's full, it can confuse the AI in basically any game like this, where it's an agent-based game where people are going back and forth because they end up not having a place to go. So it can back up the whole system. So we're gonna have to keep a close eye on that. Now, in terms of all these buildings, I would love to level these up. Oh, look at that. We're gonna be able to right away. And we were able to do that all except for the end pieces over here. And you know what? That's completely fine. We will leave those. Now, I do want to come back over here, and it looks like our mules are gone, which in my mind is a pretty good sign. Now, if we wanted a true test to see how this is working, we could either see a mule on the path, which we might. It's not looking promising though. Or if we have planks over here now, which we do, we have a ton, then we know that everything has been working correctly. So that is wonderful. Now, with that in mind, the reason I wanted the planks was to upgrade our storehouse and our granary. Let's go ahead and do that right away. And look at that, it's already full. And then planks are also used for your hitching post. So if you want to upgrade it to a stable, you have to have 2 planks. Now, we have to remember that we eliminated all the food coming over here, and we're not currently producing any food here, so we've got to do something about that. And I've got an idea. So I noticed that there is a rich deposit of berries out here, and then right here, we've got a wild animal deposit. Pretty standard, 20 out of 20, but that'll also give us some clothing, or at least an item that we can trade with Waldbrand for something else. So I'm going to build both of those right away. So we'll place our forager's hut maybe right about here. And I believe that there's already a road down here. We can connect right up to that. And then we want to also add in this hunting camp. Now for the hunting camp, I'm going to increase the priority of this one. So you could see the snow actually getting thicker on the ground. It isn't just a snowy layer that was covering things. So that was super cool. We got to attach this to the road, and then I'm going to assign 2 workers here right away. We've got a whole bunch of workers, which is outstanding. Let's set our hunting limit. Something I forget to do with these, but we'll hunt down to 5. And then with our 2 hunters here, we'll eventually take this down to 1. But with our 2 hunters here, we will get a bunch of meat right away, and then we'll get some hides as well. And oh my goodness, the length of time it took to build these 2 buildings is the best reminder that we need to have some money so we can buy another ox. So I want to assign a couple of employees here so that we can start to get some booths over here at our marketplace. So we're going to take and assign at least 2. And for our granary, the exact same thing. They'll set up a couple of stalls. I'm hoping at some point we start to get some clothing here so that we can have that set up over here as well. It's probably one of our limiting factors to upgrading. It is. For now, we're just going to deal with this being level 1. And what we're going to do is try to get enough workers to completely fill out a farm. So that's at least 8. But we also need the support workers. So we need the folks that are going to work at the windmill and they're going to work at the bakery. So what I think we're going to do is kind of systematically go through this area and fill it in with housing. Now, I want these all to be large lots because I look at each and every one of these as another opportunity to farm. So let's do the exact same thing all the way around here. But before we begin, we do have our stonecutter camp over here still. There's no more stone. So what I think we'll do is decommission this. And then I'm hoping that these workers that we just placed here will go pick up all that stone. Maybe we'll encourage them. We'll juice this up a little bit. We'll add 2 more workers temporarily. But for now, this will be just fine. And we don't have even half of our homes done yet, but it is March and I want to get some foragers out there because that is our source of food. I'm going to throw 4 people at this and we are going to eliminate a couple of people from our large storehouse. Now, we do have some hides and I have half a mind to build a tannery. It seems so extra, but I think we're going to do it. So I'm going to take this tannery and we're going to place it way out in the middle of nowhere, very close to this. And then I'm going to take one of these workers and assign them to the tannery as soon as it's done. This will be our very highest priority. And it took a while, but this thing is finally done. So let's get an employee assigned here because this is a really important building. Basically, as soon as this building starts processing some of the hides, of which I believe we have 30 right now, once these are processed into leather, we should start to be able to level up some of our buildings to level 2 buildings and collect some tax revenue, which is going to be huge for us. And something big just happened. We had an enemy unit get spotted. Let's see where they are. They're coming in right here, which is, oh my goodness, it is in our land. Thankfully, it is nowhere near our new settlement or we would be in a lot of trouble. So let's go ahead and call up our units. And we are going to rally them right over here. And my goodness, would you look at the amount of food over here in Waldbrand? This is absolutely crazy. I can't believe that. All right, I'm going to send a road through the woods. Basically, this gives us the ability to travel quickly. We know where this road is. The enemy does not. The other thing, I wonder if we could respect the topography and use it to our advantage. What if we have a road that goes along here and allows our archers to stand at the road and shoot down? And then we'll send another road down for our folks. We'll cross the stream. Now, interestingly, we don't get a bridge. We just get a road down into the stream. Now, back to our units. I'm going to grab our 2 archers and line them up here. And then I'm going to get the spearmen and we're going to line them up right about here. And then our footmen and our retinue will be the 2 units that we use to kind of lure them in. In fact, let's grab our retinue and I'm going to hide them off to the side. And for our footmen, we'll send them right here and try to get the enemy to notice them. And then once they do, we'll have them fall back into the range of the archer militia. And they've clearly seen us at this point. So I'm going to fall back. We'll face them right here. And we're going to have our retinue hidden in the forest right behind. And hopefully we can grab them from behind. They won't even know. Oh, and they're getting cute. They're getting cute. They're going in the forest. So we'll fall back. And they're coming right for me. That's pretty wild. I am going to send them back again. We'll run back and send more guys right over to help. And then for these guys, I'm going to flank them in the back. And then we'll take our spear militia, exact same thing, right around the back. Now, our archers are a long ways away. I'm going to have them fall forward. And the two of them should be able to hit each side of the battle. And now they're playing on our terms. Now the retinue, we're going to have them push forward as well. And one thing I'm really curious about, could I come down to ground level and walk around? I can. We already know what we're doing, so you know what? We'll just see how this goes. There's a lot of guys standing around. It's kind of a mess. Honestly, oh my goodness, they all ran away, I think. So I was down here, there they go, they run. Good riddance and goodbye. That's cool that we can go down into that view in the middle of a battle. I like that. Now, interestingly, we've still got a couple of folks over here. So let's scare the pants off them. Can you imagine? There's 15 of you. You're already outnumbered over here. And then you got another 72 that start coming up from this side. Yeah, hard pass. Now back over here at Immenruth, I just want to see if we can upgrade anything at this point. Oh my goodness. We finally can. So I'm going to pause this because there's the potential for a couple of things. First of all, if I go ham and I upgrade everything, I'll end up in a spot where I tank the happiness here. We're at 91% happiness. But you got to remember, level 2 burgage plots require a lot more from us. So they won't be as happy with the meager offerings that we have, which is fine. We just need to not do too many then because these other buildings are much happier with less. We'll go for 5. We're upgrading 5 of these all at once. And then while these are going, I did drop the tax over in Waldbrand. Now, I didn't want that to be a long-term thing. I just wanted to grow these buildings over here. So I am going to adjust this and give ourselves some taxes again. Remember, this tax is what we are going to use to pay for our mercenaries in our big war. So we got to make sure we've got a ton of money. And then I'm noticing one other thing. So you see, if we go over to Waldbrand, you can see all of our Waldbrand stats up here. And then we've got our stats for our treasury and our influence. And if we come over here to Immenruth, all of this changes, and now we have our new food that's localized to this place. But you know, what hasn't changed is our influence or our treasury. And that gets me curious. So the whole point of this village is to farm for influence. So we are going to have lots of farm and give away our excess food and get influence. You have to have a manor to tithe food for influence. So I'm wondering, can we build a second manor here? And if we can we tithe at this manor specific to this region? Could we just kind of cut out that whole trading thing that I was planning on doing? And it looks like we can. So I'm going to give it a go. And if we can do it, I'm going to put it right here. It's going to let me. And we won't do anything fancy. We'll just leave it like that. As long as it gets built, I'm happy. And I'm going to do something very uncharacteristic of me. Low construction priority. When we get to this, we get to this. And that's because I'm in a spot now where once we're done with some of these buildings, I want to start thinking about our farm. We've got a lot of employees that are unassigned. And once we get to 8, we could completely fill up a farm. I know it's August. It might not seem like it makes a ton of sense. But honestly, I don't like to time the farms. I would just as well get it set up and let it do its thing. Every time I've tried to time it, things haven't worked out appropriately, and I've ended up wasting a year. And just like that, our settlement level has increased, and we have another development point that we could spend. Now, we've got our 2 burgage plots, and that has started to generate some tax revenue, and now we have 25 regional wealth. And as much as I care about the policies, I think I almost care about the regional wealth more. And that's because at 20, we can get another oxen, which is huge. So, oh my goodness, we so desperately needed that. That is going to speed everything up for us. And right away, I'm going to build another one of these hitching posts. We're going to build this one over here near our logging camp. And we will speed that along because as soon as we have another 20 gold, we're going to buy another ox and we're going to upgrade this thing. We need more oxes over here because the more oxen that we have, the faster that we are going to be able to build things. But let's take a look at our development tree and see if any of these are interesting. And honestly, there are 2 policies that we can unlock, and I know that there's one in specific that I'm super interested in. So we have this heavy plow, which adds the ability to have oxen at a farmhouse. So this should make it faster to plow and faster to bring things to the market. So we're gonna go for this. We're buying lots of oxen. And then I'm gonna be upfront with you and say that I'm not 100% sure what I wanna do with this second development point yet. So we'll bank this and we'll use it later on when we have a really definitive idea of what we wanna do with it. And now we're at a spot where I think it's time to start thinking about our farms. And because of that, I think we're going to end it here and save that for the next one. So I really want to thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you've enjoyed this one. It's been a lot of fun bringing this to you. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I want to thank you so much for your support of this series and support of the channel. It really means a lot to me. I'm having a blast playing this game, and it seems like you're all enjoying the videos as well. Can't wait to bring you the farms in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.